We have been conditioned to think all our lives that great grades equals success in the future. One of the biggest fears of parents till date is to have children that are not good enough in school and college. What will become of my son or daughter is a question that constantly looms in the minds of parents. Ravi's story is a reminder that there is success beyond being great at conventional education, that exploring beyond the obvious and taking risks is today's demand for a successful life. Life really doesn't end at bad grades. Parents, let's explore along with our children and help each child actualize their potential, whether it's in the conventional space or not. And please, let's stop comparing our children. It really does more harm than good. Hear Ravi talk about his adventurous life right here at Candid with Candy. I'm your host, Candy, and thank you so much for tuning in. Do not forget to subscribe, and I hope you enjoy the show. Hi, Ravi. Thank you so much for joining me at Candid with Candy. It's so good to see you.
Thank you so much, Candy. I think this is a pleasure of mine to be on this show. And thank you for welcoming me here.
You know why I wanted to have you on the show is obviously because the transformation of a mediocre student during school and college
Yeah.
to a huge professional success, and that too in a different country altogether. If you can start off by giving us a little bit of a background on your school and college days.
You're taking me down the memory lane, first of all. That's very nostalgic for me. In the childhood, my journey was very beautiful. Everybody loved me because I was the eldest son of my family. Whatever I remember, I started as a very good student in the initial classes. And then after that, it started to go down. The trend line was clearly showing that, I'm not getting what people are trying to tell me, Uh, and there were examples in front of me. My father, my mother, they used to say, oh, look at that child. Every parent does that, right? And now today, when I look back, I feel, that something stops the real, a real child to grow. Okay. And initially it became very stressful for me as a child. From 6th standard to 12th, I can tell you every year was a burden on me. And I got least score. By the time it was 12th standard, I faced a real challenge. My father met with an accident at that time. He was bedridden. I just cleared my 12th. He said, Ravi, see what you want to do. He said, I've got about 50,000 rupees in my account. We'll have to find out something for you. So the year 2000, I started to look around and found that there is this new buzz which is coming up. Initial institutes were like NIT, Asset International, Aptech, these names. So I went there. I found out, some courses were coming up. So pretty expensive. And I found out that Aptech has a subsidiary which is a little reasonable. So I went there. I realized, computers was the thing that I wanted to do. All certifications cleared. One of them I couldn't clear because, I went with my, girlfriend to give the exam for that. And my father literally beat me up that evening. I went with my girlfriend. I failed. She also flunked. We couldn't focus. So I, gave that exam, cleared it again, from 33% or 34% to the journey of 96, 97, 98% in that stream of what I loved, okay, really gave me the confidence. And the day I finished that course, I was walking, back from my institute to my house. Somebody from a 4-story building on the first floor just said, hey, stop. So I said, okay. So I went upstairs. He said, what do you do? I said, I just finished my e-commerce course and I got my certifications from Microsoft and IBM and would be looking for a job. He said, what if I give you a job today? And I was like, wow, that happens. That really happens. Okay. It's a beautiful thing to happen for a child who was 33%, 34% and getting the job on the very first day of finishing his course. I was not even a graduate at that time. somehow I felt, when you get the confidence and you come up to a level where you're feeling everything has to be good and will be good, it will become good. That's what I've learned in life.
Really about what you think and what you say that becomes the truth. Then, there was this point when thought of moving to Canada, and this happened at a very early age for you. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So, when I was just out of my school, I told my dad, I was thinking, why not try something outside of India? Because getting into a premier institute in India for a child like me with, the lowest of marks, like 12th standard, I had 56%. That's it. So I felt, let me find out from outside what I can do differently. I started looking for institutes. I felt, I had the knack for cooking also. So I found a very good premier institute in Switzerland. I found out the details. I told my dad, it takes about 18 lakh rupees.
At that
His
time,
jaw literally dropped. His jaw literally dropped. So he said, let's go to a Panditji. I said, Panditji, what will he do? He said, no, let's go to a Panditji, find out, whether that is good for you or not. So we went to the Panditji. He said, this guy will come back like every 6 months, or he will be roaming around. He won't do the course. My dad was looking at me. Oh, 18 lakh rupees just for you to roam around the world? No, sorry, that's not happening. So that was the time when I started to look for other courses as well. So Canada came up as one of the countries, and they were booming at that time. And every time the postman used to come, he said, Sarji, this is from Canada. Oh, you're going to Canada. I said, I don't even have my passport right now. Okay, so don't even worry about that. This is just a prospectus from there. So, that's how Canada started. Life took its own turn. So I finished my course. I got my job within Merit. So I was working there. 6 months I worked there, and then I got this opportunity with a company called Delhi. And I think that's what brought me out of that city of Merit to a metropolitan city. Now I was, looking at the bigger world. If you don't experience the realities of life, you will not learn, how the life will actually firm up in the future.
right?
So that was happening right in front of my eyes. I would.
You kind of experienced a little taunt from your, I think, college
Yeah.
mate, and you had
Schoolmates.
kind of, and you had kind of, given them this line, and then something also happened after that. Can you tell us that story?
Correct. Yeah. So just outside of school, when we were just finding out what to do with our lives, my friends with the report cards in our hands, they just said, what will you do, with this kind of score? And so I said, I think the first thing that will happen to my life is my company will send me outside. I won't pay a single penny to go out of the country. And I just said it out of the blue. I had no clue that what's going to happen, but I just said it. I joined this company in Delhi. They got my passport. They sent me to the US Embassy. It was happening right in front of my eyes. Literally, I'm telling you. And I just went there, got my visa. Within a month and a half, we had to fly. All the things were happening so fast. So 2001, and this was 2002. 2002 August, I went to US, Boise, Idaho for Hewlett Packard. Imagine a guy with that kind of score, first of all, working for a company in Delhi, going for the best of the best companies in the world at that time. My friends started to inquire, where is Ravi? He's not calling us. Found out from my dad, he's in the US. And they were all amazed, surprised, because nobody ever thought that this is going to happen. And even I never thought that, but it was there in my mind that I just said it. Maybe it was written in my destiny. I always tell my friends and my family also, if you have to say something good for yourself.
And something positive. Absolutely.
Positive for yourself, positive for the world.
And then finally, how did, Canada happen? It's also an aspiration for a lot of people, not only in India, right? For many of the other countries. So if you can also shed some light on that journey of how it eventually happened.
Right. So I got married in the very early ages. So 24. When I was 24, I got married, married to the love of my life. After that, we thought, what to do differently in our life. So I said, Alka, frankly saying, let's try for Canada. So we started trying for that. 2007 till about 2014, we were literally trying from one consultant to the other, and everybody was just making money out of us. So I always tell this to people that, don't fall for this kind of a trap. Then 2014, a friend of mine came to, my house. He said, my visa for Canada is done. I was like, wow. Okay, so what's your story? So I understood from him. He said, there's a consultant. He's very confident. He can get you the visa as well. Okay, I told him my story. So he told me about the consultant. We went with the consultant in Noida. This is a plain sheet of paper. Write the country where you want to go. I'll sign it. Take me to court if I don't send it to you. Send you there. And I was like, wow, this is the confidence that we were looking for. And he is here. 2014, June is when we started with that guy. And March of 2015, we had the visa in our hands. That's how it turned out. And then it was shocking for us. We were not prepared. We were thinking, oh, it takes about 2 years, 3 years for people. And here I was with all the, visa and, whatnot, medicals had been done. Everything was done. So I was preparing. I put all my money that used to come from my salary after all my expenses is to put all of that in my PF account. People asked me, where did you get all this money? I had every single penny in my PF account. I literally cashed it out. And July, I got the money. August, we came to Canada. I came to Canada, I had no job, in hand. That was the biggest worry of anybody who was associated with us positively. They felt, what is this guy going to do? I literally told my in-laws, Alka's parents, when they asked me, I'm a Punjabi, I'll go drive a truck, Doesn't matter. Almost about 5.5 months, had no job. So that's where I applied for, and I got the opportunity. Right at the time when my credit cards were all overflowing, my money that I saved in PF, had gone.
It's also about that risk-taking ability, isn't it? I mean, if you can't take risk, then your story wouldn't have happened,
Correct. And I believe this was all due to the risk-taking abilities of my father. He actually left his 12 years tenure in a government job, just on the behest that he will not take any bribe. And he left that job. Initial days, he was literally, you must have seen on the roadways, bus stops, you have those water, people, like they give you a glass of water in 1 rupee or something. He started that in Meerut, 10 paisa a glass. Then he started a transport business. Then he went into, making machine parts. No formal education, 10th pass. My dad was a 10th pass. Went into doing commercial real estate. He was a risk taker.
He's done everything.
Yeah, he's done everything. He was a risk taker. And I think I get that ability from him.
Yeah, you definitely have a beautiful story. So I'd actually like to formally congratulate you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So I remember one weekend for some work, I had called you up for something.
Okay.
And then Alka picked up the phone. She said, and obviously my number was showing, right? My name. So he said, hello, hi Candy. And I said, who's that? I was shocked. She said, Alka? I said, Alka, what are you doing in Ravi's house?
Okay.
And she's like, Are? I'm his wife, no? And I was like, oh my God, I didn't know.
I had no clue about that. Okay, great. So you had that experience. Wow.
It was so funny. And then we were both laughing and I felt so embarrassed because I was still new. And just one last question. You've also written a book. What inspired you to do it?
So here's the book. First of all, you can see it. Magical words.
Yes, I can.
So the book is all about the most inexhaustible source of magic in your life. Okay. It is simply intellectually spiritual revolution. And when you shorten it, it says simply inspire. I picked up the first two letters of each word. It says simply inspire. It's just life experiences poured into this book. The idea is not to professionally sell it only. Okay, that's happening. That's parallel. Whatever comes to me because of this book, I donate it to the NGOs in India. Kept nothing to myself. The only reason why I wrote this book, Candy, was a lot of these experiences will be beneficial for my kids, for the people who read them, right? Their kids. I've got, my friends who have asked their kids to read this book, and the kind of, words that they've said to me make me feel that I'm doing something good with this book. That's it. I lost my father, but at the time when my father was there, I started writing this. I thought I'll gift it to my father on his birthday. But by the time this book finished, he passed away in 2017. On his birthday, I got my first copy of this book.
And that's such a beautiful tribute,
Yeah.
to your father. The last segment is called the rapid fire.
I am a mediocre student, okay? So
I
don't
like the
feel
warning.
bad if I'm not able to respond.
The first question is, what's your favorite word?
Magic.
And you just talked about it. Okay. What is your favorite vacation spot?
Switzerland. I want to go for sure.
Oh, okay. So that's a future, okay?
Yeah.
Or of all the roles you've played so far professionally, which one has been your favorite?
I think when I was a learning and development leader, that was the time which built me into a very strong personality.
It's one of the toughest and most rewarding, I would say.
Yeah.
Right? The L&D leader role.
Right.
It was so thankless also so many times.
Absolutely. It is. It is.
Okay. One thing that you hate about your work?
Long hours.
Good answer.
Yeah.
What's your favorite song?
जीना यहाँ मरना यहाँ इसके सिवा जाना कहाँ.
Okay, good one. You already mentioned about a girlfriend, but who was your first crush?
Oh, that was in my 9th standard. I can't name that person. She's on my Facebook list.
Who's your favorite sports person?
I would always look up to Kapil Dev, as one of the best.
Thank you so much. And
Thank
I
you
really
for that.
enjoyed our conversation today. And I wish you the very best and my love to all the three girls.
Absolutely. I'll pass it on.
As always, thank you so much for watching. And don't forget to check out more of my videos. Till then, take care and be safe. See you next week.